Good afternoon. A boy of primary school age has died in a road accident at West Hill on the outskirts of Aberdeen. The collision, which involved a van, happened around 11:30 this morning on Broadshade Crescent. There are no further details at this stage. The road is currently closed and is expected to remain so for some time. A Scottish anti-crime charity is warning residents in remote areas to be on the lookout for properties being used as cannabis factories. It comes after Northern Constabulary confirmed they'd seized cannabis with an estimated street value of £100,000 from a cottage at Gollenfield near Inverness. A man's been arrested and reported to the Procurator Fiscal. Crime Stoppers say there are usually signs that a drugs farm is operating.
Large amounts of gardening equipment, it could be fertiliser, it could be compost, gardening implements, are taken into the properties, but no evidence of that's happening outside the property. So, for example, the gardens remain overgrown or weeds are growing up. What I would say to people in the Highlands is to be particularly vigilant. This is a nasty crime. This is not a victimless crime. The people who are being tasked to grow these production facilities are often little more than slaves. They've been told that their families might be harmed or even killed.
From this evening, passengers are no longer allowed to drink alcohol late at night or early in the morning on most Scottish trains. ScotRail has imposed a ban on drinking or visibly carrying alcohol between 9 p.m. and 10 a.m. on its services. The operator says its staff will use common sense in enforcing the ban. The new rules will be gently phased in to give people time to get used to the idea. Don't risk it is the message from police across Scotland this weekend as they clamp down on dangerous drivers. The three-day campaign will see officers educating motorists and their passengers about the dangers of inappropriate driving and speeding. They're urging people to drive according to weather conditions and keep their eyes on the road. Mobile safety cameras will be in place in areas where there's a history of collisions.
What we wanted to do once again is to get the message over to the public that speeding and inappropriate speed on our roads is totally inappropriate. The weather has not been very good this summer, and unfortunately all too often we see the results of speeding and inappropriate driving resulting in collisions and people being injured, and that's what we want to get over to the public. So that's the message: drive according to the road conditions, the weather conditions, and think ahead.
Two rescue vessels being tested by an Aberdeen shipping company have been recovered from rocks after being stranded overnight. One had gone to rescue the other after it suffered engine failure in rough seas near the city harbour. The second craft was also caught out by the receding tide and ended up being wedged between rocks. The 8 crewmen involved managed to scramble safely ashore and no one was injured. Aberdeen's most famous footballing son, Denis Law, has been honoured with the unveiling of a statue of himself in his home city. The former Man United and Scotland legend did the needful as the life-size bronze sculpture was revealed at Aberdeen Sports Village this morning. The statue was inspired by the iconic image of Law celebrating his goal in Scotland's famous 3-2 win over England at Wembley in 1967.
When I left, I was only a young boy, 15 years of age, and I come back many, many years later, and there is a statue. Because normally, as you well know, statues are put up after the person has snuffed it. So it really is nice to have a statue up when I was still on the planet.
Dundee United will face Russian opposition in the third qualifying round of the Europa League. Peter Houston's side will face a Dynamo Moscow after the draw was made at UEFA headquarters in Switzerland. St Johnstone, who lost 2-0 to a Turkish side last night, will face French giants Olympique Marseille if they overturn the deficit in next week's second leg in Perth. There's more online. Now here's Sean with the latest weather forecast.
I love this weather.
I hate it. I haven't had a moment's rest.
Oh, that's a shame.
I love this weather. Don't you, Bill?
Good afternoon. Well, for many parts, it's not looking too bad. For the rest of this afternoon and tomorrow, make the most of it because it really is going downhill on Sunday, turning windy and wet. The wet weather, good news for the Hebrides, perhaps not elsewhere. There's so much rain, especially across central and eastern parts through the first part of the summer. But this afternoon, a lot of dry weather out there. Temperatures up to 15 or 16. Bright or brief sunny spells for many areas, although shower outbreaks of rain possible across Shetland, especially later on this afternoon and also as we go into tonight. Tonight, many parts will again stay dry. For central and eastern parts, lots of clear skies here and a wee bit nippy for some of our Grampian Glens. Temperatures down to around 5 or 6 degrees. For tomorrow, for many parts, it will be a dry day with bright or sunny spells, feeling pleasant once again out in the sunshine. But still, across the Northern Isles, at times shower outbreaks of rain and also a few showers around Grampian areas too. Bye-bye.
Make the most of the weather with Scottish Power.
That's all for now. I'll be back with the main edition of the programme at 6. Join me then. Have a good afternoon.